So I guess we get to go rescue a load. So I get a call from dispatch the other day telling me that a shipper screwed up. I guess a shipper screwed up something bad. Got a load out real late, but did not change any of the 4 stops that were on the load. So consequently, the driver is tasked with figuring this out. Well, yeah, we all know how that works. So the driver went and did the best he could, but the last load fell on an odd day and they rescheduled it for Sunday. And it was going to mean this driver was on this load for an entire week. So they had to make it to compromise. So I get the call on Friday, and he said he's going to be up there tonight. I said, dude, I ain't going to be unloaded till Saturday afternoon. You better be fueling that reefer. So it ended up working out where he'd bring it up, drop it at a secure location. I'd run over there, which is about 15-20 minutes from me, grab it, haul it down to about 60 miles south of Jackson, and I got to get it unloaded tomorrow afternoon. It doesn't sound all that bad. Here's the problem. I've got to come back up literally a mile from where I picked that trailer up, drop the trailer I'm bringing back a mile from there, come back, get my load, and start heading towards South Dakota. So we're not sure how this is all going to work out. I'm going to try to be back to South Dakota on Tuesday, but I told them it might be Wednesday. So I only got 3 pallets to drop off, but this particular customer, if this customer was a neighbor, you wouldn't talk to them. So let's get over and try to find this. We need to get over and find this trailer, and we'll head on the road. This is the age-old problem that we have with shippers and receivers. It's just always past the buck. Receivers, I get it. But shippers, they know when it's supposed to be out. And it's their responsibility to load it in a timely manner. But when they don't, it seems like they just pass the buck. But the problem I'm having is, especially this particular shipper, they're the ones that set the appointment, and it's just up to us to figure it out. And so what ends up happening, instead of just rescheduling when you need to, the load's late, there's lots of detention paid, and it just screws everybody. This poor guy that dropped this load, the load pays like gangbusters, but not for 7 days. This load pays like gangbusters for 4 days. And yeah, I understand where they were at. So sometimes you have to help out a little bit, and that's just kind of where we're at right now. So let's get over to where this trailer is. I got to drop this, drive a block, drop this up, pick up the other trailer, and then we'll do a quick inspection on that, see what I need to do, and man, we got a boogie. So we got the trailer, had to dig it out of a hole back there. Way back there. But the temperature's good and the seal matches and nothing seems destroyed. So now we've got to plot a course down to Brookhaven. This is where you never use Google Earth, because Google Earth is for cars. And the fastest way for a car is down through all these skinny 2-lane roads. And we don't do that. So let's get out of here, and we're gonna head over, start heading west and get to the big road. Here's the thing. When you have customers who make it everybody's problem but their own, and clearly this was not our problem. It's amazing how much they try to make it the middleman's problem here. You can't get mad at your dispatch. That dude does me right, and he does me right a lot, so I don't mind doing him a solid every now and then. This is, if you guys knew how cheaply your furniture was made, you'd be shocked. This furniture isn't made in places that aren't even military grade. It's that bad. So you got to give your dispatcher a break, because he's putting a bind. This right here wasn't just repowering a load. We very rarely do that here. This was rescheduling about 4 different people. I mean, to repower a load is hard enough. If you got a guy sitting around, that's easy. But if you got nobody sitting around and you got something like this, it can be trouble. And I'm really glad that, you know, well, I'm sure the guy is really glad he didn't have to sit around a week on this. But you know, customers, a receiver's a receiver, and you know, they got their hours, and if we can't make it, we can't make it. The nice thing is, this wasn't our fault. So let's get over to the big road and we'll resume this. One of the things I've seen happen in the last 15, 20 years, especially within the last 10 for sure, is the appointment times have been stripped from the carriers completely. I remember we used to make our own appointments and we could reschedule them, and even as a driver I could call up and say, I'm going to be early, I'm going to be late, you know, you got any other time slots, this or that, and it was never a problem. Well, a lot of companies started doing third-party dispatching, brokering all their own loads through third-party companies, and they took that away from the companies. I can't anymore. They won't even give us the phone number to the place. That's not a joke. There's usually, for me to, I can usually get to a guard shack if they have one, and sometimes I can get the phone number if I get to the place. But usually the phone number they give me goes to a voicemail box that nobody ever checks. It's kind of like calling the police station. Well, at least they got a... well, no, the police don't have a voicemail. Anyhow, yeah, it just rings and rings. Ask me how I know. Anyhow, they took that all away from everybody, and they won't, nobody will change anything anymore. And so they give you the load, and it's almost forced dispatch through the third-party company, because you just, now we got a few loads to where they give us open slots and we can load them, and I like those, but for loads like this, no, there's no choice. We just have to be there when they say there, and when we're not, things like this happen. Now, truthfully, I'll be the first one to tell you I hate doing crap like this, but it happens. And a lot of times when you do stuff you hate because it's a benefit to everyone around you, truthfully, it comes back around and it'll be a benefit to you. Now this isn't a favor. I'm going to be very clear. I'm getting paid well for this, and I flat told him from the get-go, if you want me to do this, it's going to cost you. And he's like, I'm willing to pay. And truthfully, I didn't even have to give him a number. He gave me a number which well exceeded my own, which means I'm working too cheap. But for what I'm getting paid, I'm not really going to complain, because it's going to cover the load down and it's going to cover the bounce back very handsomely. So, and what's funny is it ain't the company paying. There's so much detention and pay on this that the people that screwed up are actually paying. So, hey, sometimes the sun does shine on a dog's hind end. So it's the next day, and we're actually parked in Jackson right now, about an hour away. This is where a little experience comes into play. So the load is tight, the load is late, but there's also too much time on it. That's still good. All right. So when the load got rescheduled, suddenly it was a critical load, but there's too much time on it. And with what I have to do after this, it makes parking really tricky. And this is where, like I said, a little bit of experience comes into play. Having been to this place before, I know that there's only one thing you can really do when you have this much time, especially on a Sunday. The truck stop in Brookhaven is completely packed with all the locals. There's no place to park. It's a truck dump. Much like this place. I talked to them last night, and I'd say probably 9/10 of everybody, nobody's paying for parking here. I said, well, why don't you tow it? Well, corporate won't let us. I know corporate will let them. It's the management that doesn't want to deal with it. There is a fortune for tow truck drivers here, if they were allowed. But management doesn't want to screw with it, so I don't know why I'm paying. I'm going to actually bring that up one of these days. Why the hell do I have to pay if nobody else is? I know it's the right thing to do, but it still makes me mad that they want me to pay, but they're not going to enforce any of these other people. But that being said, the only thing I could do was find a place along the way. I'm going to have to start my clock, or I could go all the way in and sit. It would have been 20, probably close to 24 hours sitting waiting to unload. I have to load up my fridge and hope I don't have to go to the bathroom, because all I can do is sit on the side of the road there. I'm not interested in that. And I know today night's going to be a late night. So if I leave out of here for a 4 o'clock in the afternoon delivery, I'm a little over an hour out. I'll leave out of here a little afternoon. I will sit down there, but here's the thing. I will get my split out of it. So that's something to consider. This load is kind of odd just because it's like it has all this time and I'm waiting for it, and I'm wasting all this time, despite the fact I don't have any time. You know, I had to run over, grab it, because the reefer was running. I didn't know how much fuel it had. I have to get down here, but then I have to wait to unload here in a few hours, and then all of a sudden I have to boogie, because I have to be back up to get my load, my other load. And I have to be back in Sioux Falls Tuesday night. So today is Sunday. So tonight's going to be, I have to at least get it picked up tonight. Now, if all I do is get it picked up tonight, that's a win. Because I can make it back to Sioux Falls by Tuesday night if I get it picked up tonight. But it's going to make for 2 very long days. So what my plan is to at least get it picked up tonight and be on the other side of Memphis when I shut down tonight. But we'll have to see how that works out as soon as I'm empty. I've only got 3 pallets to take off, and being it's McLean, that should be no more than 12 or 15 hours. So, hopefully it doesn't take more than an hour or so. But we'll just have to wait and see what happens when I get down there. So I'll be leaving here in a bit, and we'll check in when we get down there. So we're here at our stop. Over here watching a moron. Yeah, he was too lazy to drive around the block, so he's busy jackknifing his truck into the middle of the road. Yeah. Decided it was easier to pull out and back up. Did he just back into the ditch? Oh. Ooh, barely missed it. Yeah, he decided it was easier to back up rather than spend the extra 2 minutes to literally go drive around the block. Yeah, so he's got that going for him. So we're here. I've got to wait to check in for about another 35 minutes, then they'll let me check in. Hopefully it's quick. Then as soon as we're done here, we've got a boogie. Now I'm not sure which way I'm going to go back up north. There's 2 separate ways I can go, and I'm going to have to consult Google Earth. What's weird is one way is going up through Jackson, up 55, and cutting across the same way I came down. Or, since the other way is going up, angling up towards Meridian, going up 45 and cutting back. I've been curious on that route, and not going through Jackson is always a plus. So, I'm going to do the math and see which is closer. I just thought I'd try this route down, and then because I thought I didn't know how far I'd go, and I knew where there was a place to park this way. I don't know where there's places to park the other way. That's why I didn't go that way. So, okay, he's done. Well, he stayed out of the ditch. Way to go, buddy. So I will check that out, and then we'll let you know when we're empty, and I'll figure it out. Okay, so I just did the calculations of where I'm going from where I'm at. Going up through Jackson, cutting across 278 like I came down is 257 miles. Going the other way is 340 304. Is it 304? Yeah. So there's roughly, give or take, we'll just say a 50-mile difference. There's only a 19-minute difference according to Google Earth. Now, 19 minutes is moot. So what I'm going to do here when I take off is I'm going to check the road conditions to see where the slowdowns are on both of them. And if it looks like something screwed up's happening this way, I'll go this way. If it looks like something is screwed up going this way, I'll go that way. Truthfully, I'd rather go the little bit longer way. I'll waste the 20 minutes. But like I said, in a semi-truck, 20 minutes is moot. But we'll just have to look at the traffic patterns. Even though it is Sunday night, screwed up things still happen Sunday. Finish up a lot of construction and stuff like that. So we'll just have to check that out, and I guess we'll see you when we're done here. Well, as you can see behind me, it's late. It's about 8:30 now. I had a 4 o'clock appointment, and there's still a bunch of rejected product. Not what you want on a Sunday. This is why I really just despise my... But, it's one of those stupid things to where you have to sit there and wait for somebody to figure out something. So, I might be here till morning. I really don't have a choice. I just said screw it. I'm just parked here on the side of the road. So, in front of the building, so I gotta figure out what we're doing here, and I guess my load is going to be late. This kind of crap just drives me nuts. So, hopefully we can get this figured out and just go from there, I guess. Well, it's the next morning, and I'm here at the Fleetway in Brookhaven. Haven't left town yet. This has gotten messed up. Since last night was Sunday, nobody was going to be in till today to figure out the claim. The problem isn't that there's damaged product or rejected product. The problem is that there's product that's not supposed to be on here. So everybody's trying to figure out what to do with that. This is one of those deals where there's just too much product to throw away. So now we got to a Fleetway, clean restrooms. Yeah, that's a farce. So now we got to figure out what they're going to do with it. And being a Monday, it could be a little while. So we just have to wait and figure out, because it's not beyond, even though it doesn't look like a lot in there, it's a complete pallet. And they could tell me they want this all the way back to the facility, preferably the one it was shipped out of. So there's a good possibility, even at one pallet, they'll have me take this all the way back to North Carolina. It's unlikely, but it's not out of the realm of possibility. I remember a guy, he took 2 pallets of freight back to Greenfield, Indiana from Massachusetts. So if they want it back, they want it back. And so they'll pay us to haul basically an empty trailer all the way back across the country if that's what they want to do. Whatever. A lot of the stuff they want you to do doesn't make sense, but I guess it makes sense to them. So I guess we're just going to hang out, figure out what goes here, and I guess we'll just have to get back to you when I figure out what's going on. So we finally got an answer. It only took, well, all night really. Got a place to go donate it to, but I got to drive 2.5 hours to it thankfully, it's on the way for me to pick up my load, which now is going to be late. So, thankfully, we can reschedule it. So, I'm still going to try to be there tomorrow night, but it's not looking good. So, I got to go top this reefer off because I got to drop it somewhere, and then we'll be done with it. Well, we're here. Got the trailer dropped. Boop. We done. This whole ordeal has been just an absolute madhouse. Usually with this particular customer, it's always a mess even when you're on time, but like I told dispatch, I think the only guy that actually won was the guy who got to drop the trailer. Now I'm going to reiterate something. You should never sit on your wallet. That's one. I'm going to reiterate something. This was not a favor. I got paid for this. And there was detention on, and then when they found out what happened and all of this other stuff, there was detention that happened with that. I'm glad I work for a company that recognizes that, because I'll tell you what, my time is valuable, and they understand that. I don't mind doing favors from time to time, because sometimes, you know, your dispatcher really genuinely needs a little help, and there are things that just get messed up. So if you can help them, that's not a bad thing. It's when they start abusing that word, I need a favor, that you got to start pumping the brakes. This guy doesn't. And I'm very grateful for that. So yeah, this is why I tell guys, don't do favors. You get paid for it. Because favors are synonymous with another F word. And that word ends with ED most of the time. So that's different. Who knows what goes on in Mississippi these days? Weird. So you just have to pick and choose your battles, and truthfully, I kind of figured this was going to be messed up. I was hoping for the best, but you know, to make a few hundred extra bucks to basically run 200 miles south and then get paid, basically round trip to come back up north and grab your load. It's already been rescheduled, so we're good on that. As much fuel tax as I pay in Mississippi, you think the roads would be better. You know, I actually made out pretty good. Like I've said before, that's why we're here. We're not here to be benevolent. We're not here for the greater good. We're here to make money. And this load was completely screwy. It was completely just hammered crap from the word go. It leveled out. Everything worked. I let the big wigs make the decisions they needed to make. And at the end of the day, I walked off with a lot of extra money for what amounted to 24 hours, really. Yeah. So yeah, it amounted to about 24 hours extra work, actually, when all said and done. Actually, yeah, actually right about now, and I'm empty. So wait a minute. No, you get out of that. It was 2 days, but not a whole 2 days. Now that I think about it, that's right. It was Sunday, wasn't it? Today's Monday. I lost a day. So yeah, basically, I picked it up Saturday night or Saturday afternoon, hung out in a decent place Saturday night, drove down Sunday, delivered it. I'm back up here Monday morning. So, yes. Yeah, not a bad turnaround despite everything that got messed up. So these things are going to happen. The important thing is don't get too caught up with it. Let the big wigs make all the big decisions. It's their stuff, and you learn how to roll with it, and you learn how to work a favor. I guess that's the only way I know how to say it. You can really make a lot of money out here. So I appreciate it. Thanks for watching. You guys keep it straight, and we'll see you next video.
I'll be the last one left when the lights go out. I'm down to one last breath, but I can't stop now. We all fall down sometimes, yeah, but that's just life. So cross my heart and hope to die. Baby, I was born to fight the fear when I feel like dying. I'm trying to fly high, but I'm not a pilot, can't deny it. There's some days I feel idiotic, just a product of a system where you're lucky just to make a dollar. That ain't gonna stop me cause my grind's contagious. I'll do what it takes to turn passion to paychecks. And if I go down, I'ma do it on my terms. And every single problem brings a lesson that I learned. The darkest nights when things seem so broken.